So, since we're officially now, like, in pre-spooky season, I've just decided that, like, from January 5th all the way to October 31st, that it should just be spooky season. Why? Because the world's burning, everyone hates everything and everyone, and also, I feel like we all just kind of need a big victory, so... and also, another thing, by the way, of why I think we should start spooky season, at January 5th, excuse me, July 5th. But, you can have spooky season all around. Why I think July 5th should be the official start of spooky season? It's because all of you Christmas assholes keep trying to take more of Halloween from us. Every time I go into a goddamn Walmart, it's like I see more Christmas stuff than Halloween stuff half the goddamn time. So you know what? You want to encroach on our territory? We'll encroach all the way, we'll climb up all the way up Summer's asshole. You know, we will scurry up there like a gerbil going up Richard Grere's asshole. Okay, don't test us. Anyway, um, anyway, so even though the year's not over, 2026 already looks like a massive year for horror movies. Like, we have got so many announced, and some we don't even know about. So I decided, you know what? I actually would love to talk about this. I would love to talk about some of my most anticipated horror movies for 2026. Because again, it looks like a massive year. It looks like an absolutely big year for horror movies. And these are the ones we just know about. There's so many that could just come out of nowhere. Like how Talk to Me came out of nowhere and just blindsided all of us with how good it was. I recently saw Bring Her Back and I wanted to vomit, but in a good way. There's no good way to do that, though. Anyway, so we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the movies we know so far, or at least, actually, we're going to talk about the horror movies I'm most anticipated for. And it's no ranking. It's just a bunch of movies, and I'm going to talk about them and why I'm excited for them. So there's no real ranking for them. But having said that, I'm always excited to hear what movies you're most anticipated for. And yeah, just comment below, let me know. So let's get started. So the first movie, first and foremost, is Robert Eggers' Werewolf. Now, Werewolf is coming out next Christmas, so it's a long wait until we get that film from Eggers. And I have to be honest, that's my if I was going to do a ranking, this would be my most anticipated horror movie of 2026. It's already going to be one of my most anticipated movies of 2026 in general. But the reason why I'm so excited is because I am a big Robert Eggers fan. I absolutely love Nosferatu. I've loved all of his movies he's done so far. The Northman is one of my favorite films of his. I still think The Northman is my favorite of his films, but he has done an amazing job. Now, as I talked about when the news of Werewolf came out, I really do have to stress to everyone the idea of you guys seeing an actual, like, man-wolf, like a guy with a wolf on it, like a wolf head and all that, and things like that, you guys have to really get that expectation out of your head. Could that happen? Yes. I think it could still happen. But the thing is, that I have to stress is that Eggers is a major stickler for original lore, for the lore and mythology. And a lot of those things we see are from movies, and not from actual, like, French and Central European lore. That's what I think so that expectation of seeing, like, a big guy turning into a massive werewolf man, it's a cool image, don't get me wrong, we all saw that, and we all saw Van Helsing and went, that's a werewolf. Like, that's the definitive werewolf design right there. But I don't think we're gonna get that. I think it's gonna be a really big wolf at best. So I think it's not going to be like guy gets bit by a werewolf, because in most Central European lore, it's that you have to make a deal with the devil for, like, special oil and a wolf skin, or you drink water from the paw print of a werewolf on a full moon, or you're the seventh, or you're a child born on Christmas. That's a really bad thing. Like, apparently God didn't like the idea of anyone else sharing his kid's birthday. That's actually like how someone gets turned. That's actually the plot of Curse of the Werewolf from Hammer Films. Like when I first saw that, my first initial thought was, so is God just that jealous that he doesn't want anyone else to share his kid's birthday? I don't know. But yeah, Werewolf is my most anticipated horror movie. If I was to do a ranking, it would be that would be the number one. Next up, now we're just gonna go with all the other ones. Next up, Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Let's be real, we peaked in 1999, but here's the thing. Lee Cronin did a movie called The Hole, and more importantly, he did a little movie called Evil Dead Rise, which brought new life into the Deadites, so to speak. Evil Dead Rise is a great movie, and I have been dying for a new Mummy. I'm always down for a Universal monster movie, even though Wolfman was such a fucking disappointment. It was so awful. But I have a lot of hope for this. I'm hoping for a claustrophobic, more horrific take on it, more body horror, and I actually just want a mummy, man. I just want like a horror film centered around a mummy. I'm actually hoping, and I'm fine if it doesn't happen like this, I'm hoping for a period piece movie. I'm really hoping that it's a period piece horror movie. If it's not, oh well, I just want this movie to be scary. I think, you know, if this movie can really invoke, like, the original Boris Karloff movie, and keep in mind, I love the Brendan Fraser movies, but I really hope this movie invokes, like, the classic Karloff mummy movie. I would absolutely love that. So Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I'm always I'm such a dirty whore for Universal monster movies, or anything with the Universal monsters, so what do you want me to say? Next up, speaking of Universal monsters, while it's not a Universal picture, this is a movie that was supposed to come out this year, but has been pushed back by Maggie Gyllenhaal. This is her directorial debut, called The Bride. This is a story of 1930s, of the bride and the monster in 1930s Chicago, and they're like Bonnie and Clyde meets Evil Dead. And like when I heard that, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm really curious to see Gyllenhaal's directorial debut, and Christian Bale as the monster sounds really awesome. It sounds bizarre, and that's really cool. Make no mistake, I am very excited for Del Toro's Frankenstein film coming out in November. That's gonna be such a fucking baller movie. But this movie, sounds so bizarre and different that it just screams me, you know? So, The Bride sounds really cool. Next up, let's talk about let's talk about Evil Dead real fast. Evil Dead Burn. This is from the director of Infested, which is a great spider horror movie from France. This movie is set by the director said, I'm going to put all of my venom and vitriol, and to the point where I never feel like I want to make another horror movie again. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. Yeah, so I'm just expecting Evil Dead Burn to be just brutal, disgusting, and just absolutely terrifying. I'm hoping for just something absolutely horrifying. But yeah, I love the Evil Dead, and it's just nice to have another Evil Dead movie, not wait another 10 years for them. And we are getting another Evil Dead movie, I think 2028. There is another one being made simultaneously. So, yeah. So yeah, we've got, because that's the whole initiative from Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, is that they want to give the Evil Dead franchise to these other indie horror directors or international directors to like give them a foot in the door for bigger companies. Hence why Lee Cronin got The Mummy from Blumhouse. So yeah, I think that's really cool, and it gives like new takes on the Evil Dead every time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Evil Dead Burn. Yeah. Next up is a horror movie I recently heard of, called Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny is a movie about a child who runs to her neighbor's house to help them kill the monster under her bed, she claims has eaten her family. That sounds really cool. It's gonna have David Dastmalchian in it, and I'm always a fan of it. I'm always down for that. So, sounds cool. So Dust Bunny, that one I recently came upon, and I was like, all right. Next up is a movie like, if this sucks, then don't ever do another movie of this franchise again. And that is Resident Evil. Resident Evil, from the director of Barbarian and the upcoming film Weapons. I swear to God, that movie was tailor-made for, I forget his name, but yeah. If this is the last shot, okay? This is the last shot to make a Resident Evil movie, alright? Like, there's no other way to put it. If this movie sucks, from the director of arguably a new up-and-comer in horror, and I'm really excited to see what happens with Weapons, if this movie sucks, then this is the celestial sign, there should be no more Resident Evil movies. Unless it's animated from Sony. And even then, that's contentious. Anyway, so, Resident Evil, that's the last shot, okay? Because Welcome to Raccoon City had all the stuff going for it, and I was really excited. And then I saw the movie and wanted to kill myself. Yeah, just, I don't know how you make a movie worse than the Mila Jovovich movies, but you somehow did it. That's an achievement in its own right. Anyway, real quick, I want to bring up Scary Movie 6. I've never been a big Scary Movie fan, but it is really cool to see it come back and to have the Wayans brothers actually do that film themselves, which they haven't done since Scary Movie 3, I think. So that's going to be cool. I think that's going to be cool. I don't know if I'll watch it, but in theaters, but that's really cool. I know a lot of people who are Scary Movie fans, so yeah. Next up of the movies I want to see this year, I am very much looking forward to. I'm very much looking forward to, of course. How could I not bring it up, right? Terrifier 4. Come on, man. You knew it was gonna be on. You knew I was gonna talk about it. Like, to have Terrifier 4 on here, you know, one of the most successful horror franchises in the decade, is nothing to poo-poo about. This movie is awesome. This movie is great. This franchise is great. Art is a solid horror icon, and I cannot for the life of me get over how good of a franchise this series has been. Has it had its hiccups? Yeah. And, but, yeah. Also, the other thing that's important to note about why Terrifier is so important, not just for horror fans, but for films in general, is that, you know, it's basically opened the door for indie movie makers to bypass major studios and still make a profit. That's why we're getting the Toxic Avenger movie. That movie was going to be shelved and no one was ever going to watch it, but thanks to the profits made by Terrifier 4, that Peter Dinklage Toxic Avenger movie is coming out next month. You know, so this basically opened the door to not just horror directors, but like independent filmmakers and independent studios who can just go, we don't need you. We don't need you, these massive companies, to like come in here and butcher our vision, or, you know, say our movie is too gratuitous. That's the big thing with why the Terrifier franchise matters, is because it also managed to accomplish, you know, that in its own right. So, you know, you cannot for the life of it take away that from it. I'm sorry, I had a sentence there and I lost it. So, yeah. There was, I'm on the fence about 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, because while I liked a lot of 28 Years Later, if you want to check out my review of it, go check out my Patreon, but that ending, and you know what I'm talking about, that ending made me go, what? But, again, this movie, I might go see it. It's from Ava DeVue, who I cannot. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. She's a solid director in her own right, and this is the start of a new 28 Years franchise, and could be good. I am curious about more of this universe and how Danny Boyle and Alex Garland and everyone else a part of it is going to really play this series out. So I'm looking forward to it. I gotta look up real quick if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I'm so professional on this channel, I swear. Um, oh yeah, Scream 7. How did I forget Scream 7? Well, Scream 7, you know, that one is going to be contentious because of all of the backlash because of it. But, to have Nev Campbell back, Kevin Williamson's coming back, and I wanted, like, it sounds so bizarre. The casting choice, like, having Matthew Lillard come back, Skeet Ulrich come back, characters who are definitely dead in the franchise to come back, and to see where this goes, yeah, I'm curious. So, we'll see. I'm curious, but also, like, it's a little skeezy that, like, we had a whole plan for Scream 7, and now, because of things, and also how the studio treated certain actors, it's going to be an uphill battle. But I do want to support Nev Campbell. She's a great actress, and you can't go wrong with Matthew Lillard. Another film I want to bring up real fast. I literally just looked at it too. I'm so professional on this channel. Silent Hill. The first Silent Hill movie I personally like. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I personally like it. It's one of the better video game movies. And to have the original director come back and also be kind of a remake of Silent Hill 2 sounds really cool. So Return to Silent Hill, that one's going to be on my iffy pile because I'm like, I don't know if I can trust it coming back, you know what I mean? And it's not really a horror film, but it's being treated as a horror film, Clayface. Even though, so I want superhero horror movies to work, and Clayface is great at that. To have, like, a script written by Mike Flanagan, that's really cool. And speaking of Mike Flanagan, we're getting a new Carrie TV show. I didn't call it because I'm saying movies, but Carrie TV show by Mike Flanagan is going to be awesome. And it was so good. Apparently the pitch was so good that Stephen King said, "You did it better than my book." I can't, like, that sounds like a lot of smoke being blown up asses, but I gotta, it's gotta count for something. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what are some of the most anticipated horror movies for you guys out there? Are there any I missed? Are there any that interest you from this list? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.